Drive to Survive is a bit controversial between hardcore F1 fans, those of us who watch every single weekend, and those who watch every now and again. Especially with Season 3, but I'm going to be trying to avoid any spoilers in this video and talk in very general terms. First off, like any show, its main purpose is to be entertaining. Without that, nobody would watch it. But then the secondary goal is for the show to become a marketing tool. That was the goal when starting the show for Liberty Media, the new owners of Formula One. What I mean by this, Drive to Survive is made with the goal in mind of attracting new F1 fans. This is even more true here in America, where we haven't grown up with F1. The US didn't really have a big F1 marketing campaign presence until a few years ago when Liberty Media took control. Even then, compared to other sports like American football or the NBA, F1 is still minuscule. Thus, Drive to Survive is not meant for us hardcore F1 fans. The behind-the-scenes material and interviews do add an extra element to enhance our experience as Formula One fans. However, we have to keep in mind the original goal of the show. 1, to be entertaining, and 2, to attract new F1 fans. However, there is an issue with this marketing strategy. Simply put, Drive to Survive portrays a false narrative of exactly what Formula One is. Netflix packs months and months of F1 news and racing into 10 action-packed, drama-fueled racing episodes. If you watch F1 on any type of regular basis, you'll know that this is certainly not the case. And while this achieves their goal of attracting new F1 fans, for example, I started watching F1 shortly after watching the Drive to Survive Season 1. But, and this is a big but, I have always been interested in motorsport, sim racing, and the like. I knew what Formula One was before watching the show. Now, take your average person who starts the show after it pops up on their recommended from Netflix. By the end of the show, they will be thinking that Formula One is this weekend thriller when in reality it isn't. Imagine this fan watching their first race weekend, something like Abu Dhabi, which is normally a snooze fest, and leaving the experience with a total hate for actually watching F1. Now, I get it. Don't get me wrong. We have to remember the number one goal is to make an interesting show. And the show shines a light into the paddock that we would normally never get to see otherwise. That's what I love about Drive to Survive. But I think they have to reel in some of the expectations that get shown. They clip a 2-hour race together to make it look like there's wheel-to-wheel action going into every corner. But how could Netflix fix this? Comment your guys' thoughts down below. Now, they can't cut out the racing altogether, otherwise there wouldn't be a show. I think the best approach would be to change the format of how the season is put together. Instead of focusing on the major plot lines on each episode, they could focus on attacking the season in a chronological order. Having 1 or 2 races each episode explaining how the season is progressing for each team would give a more comparable experience to actually watching F1. It's a complex topic that doesn't have one single answer, and you might be thinking that you don't have an issue with how the show is now, and that's completely okay. But this is just my rant that I wanted to give after finishing Drive to Survive Season 3. Please smash that subscribe button down below. I am trying to get to 25 subscribers by the end of May. But as always, I'm Wheaton, and thanks for hanging out with me.